Hi, this is Srinivas Tamada, founder of 9lesson.info. I think last video we discussed about how to do login authentication with PHP API, but I'm just continuing with this post for part 2, like how you're going to display the feed from the database and based on the user token, encrypted token. If you watch this video, how I created a token and all, I explained it. Let's continue this post, and here I just updated the feed. Like you can see, I just added a created int. If you want, you just take it and you can download the API from here, and I'm going to update this post as well. So I'm going to continue this. This is what the thing like this is what the project. You can log in and sign up here. Let's log in what we achieved last time. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward because I'll explain you like because I didn't consider like the negative scenarios. Let's fix all those stuff. And if I log in it, I'm just displaying the user data and some email and all with logout. But now what we're going to do is like so I have some database. It's the same thing. Sorry, localhost. So I created the database here. These are the users and their password, and this is a feed. So here is the foreign key for the user. This is related to user 1 and this is related to user 2 and their timestamp. So now once they log in, I'm going to access this data. So that is what we are going to achieve. So let's create a set up the API first, and I need to fix something in the API as well. I didn't explain last time because only positive scenario we need to see how to stop all the negative if username and password is wrong, all this stuff. Okay, this is what my uh, the project source. I'm going to introduce one more thing like called feed, like a user feed with the post data. So instead of sign up, I'm going to use feed, and this is a feed. This actually this function actually calls the it will connect to the database based on the user token and get all the feed information. So this refers to the feed function, like sign up and login. I explained last video, and now I'm going to create a new function called feed. So I'm going to access this. So you can take you can copy this from directly from the previous functions. Like this is a post request. It will take everything. The body data will be here, post data. So here we are only accessing the user ID. Sorry, we're using user ID and the token. This refers to the token, and this is user ID. So this data we are passing through. Once the login successful, you're going to send this data. So based on that, we will check. So and explain this like how we are creating the APX encrypted code, because based on your key it will generate. So the same function we are using and generating the token, like is it a valid token or not. So this token we need to validate. So anyway, we are going to write a try catch for any exceptions. So I'm just copying this previous things, like is there any PDO exceptions like data connection or something, it will throw errors here. And now I'm going to write entire logic here. So now I need to generate a system token, because this is what the token I got from the user. Like I'm going to create a system token here. So system token is like this is what the function. So sorry, this is what the function API key. I'm using this key. I'm using this function because this function already included here. Like all these things will be in the config. So config has this. So let me generate that using that function. I'm just passing the user ID. So this will actually, based on the user ID and the site key, is this valid or not, it will check. So now we need to write a small if else condition. Is it a valid or not? So this token equal to system token. The only if this is true, we are accessing a user to get the info, pull the data. Otherwise we are actually throwing error, like some, like, you know, access some error, like writing some text like, you know, no access. And here, like, you know, I'm just creating a simple, like, it's like, you know, first we need to open the DB connection. This everything is same, the mostly. Let me do this. And the SQL is like, here is your query, and we are going to take two inputs here. I mean, the mostly one input, that's called user ID, because we are pulling the information based on the user ID. So this is going to be user ID. And now here, like, you know, select star from feed where user ID fk refers to the foreign key, and going to this user ID, and this is always be a integer, so I'm changing to integer. And now we need this result, so execute, and the entire feed data will be this, and stmt fetch all. So all these, like, you know, like PDO things, like you will get a lot of tutorials in the web, like see here, I written all the stuff. I can just take it off. So this is fetch is refers to one record. Here is fetch all means is all the records. That is a big difference. And now, like, you know, I'm just closing the connection. I'm making it null. And, like, you know, this is what the JSON encode. We are going to the JSON output. So this is what the output, and call it as a feed data. This data I'm exposing here. So now our like, you know, feed function is ready right now. So when we access this, you can get all the user information. So now let's go back to the project. What we have, like, this is what last time we worked. This is what the authentication, and now, and if you see the login, there is a login how we are accessing the post data, and all. Now we are going to connect with this is the home page. So now we are going to display here. Okay, so first we'll complete the design first, how we're going to display the feed, I mean the feed block. So I'm just taking from the Ionic components, like any existing design, so that way we can save time. So basically I'm just taking this card, like this basic card I'm going to use. Let's try to implement here and see what exactly. Let me close this and make it minimize, and so we don't want these icons and all, so let's keep the logout and all. I'm creating a, this is a card template. Let me format this. Yeah, here is the feed data. this part we are going to work on right now. So let's work on the TypeScript. So this is exactly same like the login. You can use the exact function, and because we are not doing much. So okay, let's do it like how we are going to do this and how we are going to get the token values. Okay, the last post I explained all this part, like how we are getting all this data, like even email and all. So the same way entire user details will be here. So from this user details we are going to get the token, and because this user details has all the information like even token data and user ID. Let's if you see this, I'm just going to create some JSON value, because this data we are going to push it to the API. So here I'm going to send, this is user ID and this is token. These two information I'm going to send it to the API. So we'll call it as like user post data. Now see, here is the data, like this dot, I'm going to assign this information to like user ID equal to the data will be here from the user details. Here is the data, like this is called user ID, and the same way this is a token, so it's a token and there's the token. So this user details has all this information, like if you see, and we can, if you want, we can display it here as well. Okay, now we have all the information. We're going to call a small function and get the information. So like I'm just writing a small function called get feed. So this one accessing all the information like to connect to the auth service, and so first we need to include this because we are going to use this auth service, and we're going to import that in a constructor. So we imported this, and you can use the same exact function. Function information, I'm just replacing this, and here instead of this you can just change to feed, and you're passing this information, so I'm changing this. Okay, so rest of everything is same and no need to change anything. So because we haven't created this, just create something like public any, and this is actually we are not redirecting or something, we are just here, we are not doing anything, we are just displaying it, so we don't want this information. But the same data we need to display it here, so I'm just creating a one more variable, like it's a public variable, it's called data set. With that data set I am going to use it in the template. So this data set is equal to, this dot data set equal to this dot response data dot feed data, the feed data which I exposed in the API. This, I think if you see this, look at this, this feed data is referring to this, and this token and user ID is, I'll just show you in the PHP. Like see that username, and this is user ID, and token is the posting, and this feed data is refers to the like the response data. Now so back to the project now, and now we are doing this, so we make it like, we need to call this function in the constructor when page loads. So this dot get feed. So I'm accessing that. So now what happened is, like, it comes to the constructor and it will pull the local storage data, and that user data it'll try to assign the user ID and token here, and that once it got set, this data I'm passing to the feed with the post data. The post data function is this, and I explained this already. So it's, and now the entire result comes here. Okay, so like here, like I'm writing a small check, like this should, like, always once data is there, I mean the response data feed is there or not, because we have errors as well. So that I haven't covered in the last post, so I'll try to change everywhere. So this is what, like, once it is there it will come, or else you can show whatever, like you have any error. I'll explain, like here some error, like I'm going to give console log like error with APIs, or like, not APIs, like no access. Okay, now it's done now. So we need to bind this data set with, the template, because here is the main thing. Because right now, if you see, I'll just show the, let me show you the response. Let's go to console and let me refresh it. Maybe I forgot the console. Let's add some console here. So I'm just logging this data, what exactly we are getting it. See, if you see this, I'm just logging it. So right now I'm getting the information, like, some feed data, and so whatever I have in the database, these two records based on this user ID, because user ID is one. Let's log out, and if you see other user, like I'm getting some, like this is what the second user information is coming. Okay, let's log out and log in with the old one, and we'll bind with the template. Let's try to display this. So now back to this, and let me close this up and make it. So now come to the HTML part, like, now we have the data set is coming. So this data set, I'm going to use it here. So this is like, in the ng repeat kind of thing. Like here we are going to use ng for. So let is kind of variable. So item of, like this is what we are going to use. This is what the data set. So this array, so it will loop it up. So now I'm going to display this item dot feed. So I'm binding with HTML. So always you have to keep this instead of printing this, because or just p tag, or use always inner HTML item dot feed and close the p tag. Why? Because inner HTML, if that contains any HTML tags also, it will render it properly. Like maybe in future you're going to add something. And the same way, like I'm going to give one span tag. Like I'll try to display something else, like I'm just going to display the time here, like item dot created. Okay, let's see what comes here. If you see this, there is a data coming, and the feed data as well coming. I mean the created data, like what is the timestamp, everything. So this is how you can display the user feed. and see if you have a timestamp. Like there are a lot of plugins available. Let me install some small plugin for time ago plugin, and how we going to achieve this in a quick way. It's like very popular plugin is like you can install it this way, like npm install. Like in a jQuery we have so many things like saving inside this project. Let's call it as angular 2 movement, I guess. Movement. Okay, let's try to install this. Yep, it got installed. If you see the package.json, you'll see the angular movement. If you see this documentation, you'll find all these instructions. Once it got installed, the main thing is you have to import this in the in the main module, app module. So let me import this. Like this is what you have to import from that, like movement module from angular to movement. Sorry, angular. So this one you have to import in the importers. Now I just imported this right now. Okay, and now back to this, and let's apply here. Like you can apply it like this in the piping, like this am time ago. So all this information you will get it from that. So why? Because this is invalid, because it's not a, it's actually Unix timestamp. So we need to convert this into a normal timestamp. That we can do that in a simple way. Like, so let me write convert date, convert time, for example. This is called the time, and let's create a small variable called a, and new date equal to this time. This is a Unix time into 1000, and return a. So this actually converts into like normal date format. So this function I'm going to use it here. So you can call it directly like this convert time, and create it. Let's save it. So if you see this, you'll get like 24 hours ago, and this 36 minutes ago. It's like based on the timestamp. Like if for example if I install something new, like new record, some like hello world, like user assigned to 1, and some default timestamp. Now let's see, and refresh this. See, you got third one here. So like see here, like there are a lot of functions. Let me do one more quick plugin to install. It's like Linkify. There is a link here. So how to make it enable little quicker to this, like yeah, Angular install save Angular link. So the same way, like again, if you see the package, it'll add some linky thing. So the same, whatever you follow for the other one, all these things, if you go to the in the npm website, you will find all this information. And here it will be like linky module and Angular and the package name. And this one we're going to import here. The same thing you're going to follow everywhere. And now back to back to the HTML, like how we're going to import this, wherever we are like, we need to apply for this, just there is an instruction to use this one. I'm just adding a pipe with the link here. So if you see this, the link has came by default. So this way people can open the website in a different way. So this is how you can achieve. And I missed so many things in the last last tutorial. Like I'll just try to fix it as soon as possible. Like, there are a lot of else statements we missed. So if you see the sign up, there is no else part. What if anything wrong? I mean, what if, like, this statement is going to fail with the regular expressions if email is wrong or something. That way I'm just passing that with error data, like this one, like instead of that, if it is else, you can take the update from the GitHub. I updated all these things, right? So here, like, give valid user data. The same way I'm going to implement this here as well. And this is a try function, like if user data is available, make this up, or you can use not equal to empty. Else you can go give an error like, bad, authentication or something. Yeah, this way. So now I fixed the backend side, and if you see the front end side, like go to the authentication back, and if you see the login, I haven't, I didn't even, like, consider, like, checked anything, like if the data is available or not, like this dot user data dot username and dot user data dot password. Then only you have to do this action. Else error, like, console log, like, give username and password, some information. The same way for a sign up, because I don't want to cover all the, like, I mean the validations and all, because there are a lot of tutorials already available. You can just follow them, and I'm just giving a basic idea like how we can do that. The same way, like here also I'm just adding the information, like all this information going inside, and instead of, you have to follow this, like this dot user data dot username and password and email and the name. So again, I'm just giving a small thing, like, console log give valid information. So I just added it, and let's log out and try to give okay, I'll try to give a small alert to show, like, if anything wrong, we'll show some alert. The, like, Ionic is just let me log out. Okay, now once user gives the wrong username and password, we need to prompt like small error message, like small kind of alert. So I'll try to implement this with Ionic component. Is there anything with the alerts? Let's see. If you go to alerts, yeah, this is a basic alert, not this. We'll go with this kind of one. It's called toast thing. So this is called toast controller. So let me implement this from the Angular Ionic one. It's very nice. So we'll try to implement this for login. The same thing you can do it for the sign up as well. I'm trying to explain for login. So I'm just importing the toast controller, and then so whatever you import, just import that into a like private and toast. This is called toast controller and toast controller. So I'm making it a small. So this one we're going to use it. So we followed this, and I'm trying to copy this code because you can take it from here. So I'm trying to implement this function. I'm copy pasting this. Okay, instead of this name in the controller, I'm going to use this. Yeah, in a short way instead of that. So this actually refers to the message, and this is the duration, how many seconds it should stay on the page. Like, let's see, and I'll make it as a 2 seconds right now. Instead of the message, I'm just giving a message. That message has come from the function. So instead of the error, like, so instead of this console, this dot this and this message. So in the same way, like and this actually a general validation, I mean like general thing, and the same way it goes to the API, and API also give the valid like is it a valid data is or not. So this should be in the check, like the response data has the user data or not. So let me check this dot user data, because this data only we are going to use, because that one I'm storing it here. So this should go inside this, and else, and some error like please give valid username and password. Okay, now let's see how this works. Should like this, Srinivas, I'm just giving password some xyxx something. Let's log in, see, please give valid user information. Let's inspect this, what exactly the output is coming. And if you see the network, whenever I click this, you're getting a login, and the response is error and bad request. If it is a success, like, and if you see the login, and you will get the proper user data and the feed, and if you see the header, we are sending the token and the user ID, and based on that you will get this information. And if it is an error, you will get this. And the same way, I'm just logging out. I'm just logging with Superman, and 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is for example, this actual password is 1 2 3 4 5 6, but I'm giving 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Let's see, you will get this alert like this, and I'm making it proper one. You see this error, and it's true. Now you got only one data, and with the user ID. This way you can achieve whatever you want. Okay, let's try to build this very quickly, and with the iPhone app with Xcode, and see the output in the iPhone, because I haven't shown this. So I just deployed all these APIs in my hosting at this URL, the same project I deployed it here with the Restful. So I'm just changing the URLs now because from the iPhone we're not able to access the local host, so we need a live host. So let's build the project. So just a simple command, go to the project, so Ionic build iOS. So before hitting this, try to remove your mobile, if you have a USB connection, try to remove that off. And let's go to the projects folder, and this will take some time. Yeah, now build has been successful. So let's go to your projects folder, and this is what our project is. And if you see the platforms, there is iOS, and go to try to launch this with Xcode, and I'll show you with a iPhone like output. Let me close everything. Yeah, now select the project and make sure log in with your Apple ID. And now I just connected with my iPhone. So here, like I'm using iPhone 7, so I'm trying to install this, and I'll show in my phone screen like how I'm going to launch the application and the connection, everything. Yes, the application has been installed now. So let me show you I'll share my iPhone screen now. Yeah, now you can see the my iPhone screen, so you can see this. So here is my application, like the Ionic welcome. So let me launch this and show you the output. So this is right now it's connected to my hosting. So let me log in with the wrong username and password, like if I give something, give username and password, and it'll be, there is a big difference, like in the web and the UIC. If you see a lot of padding, everything is there here. And let me give the 1 2 3 4 5 6. So if you see this, this is what the output, and you'll see other pages as well. This is what the feed, and this is what we achieved right now. This is what the data I have right now. So that's it, and you can log out. You can try with some other user. Thanks a lot. Just try this. If you have any doubts, just comment on the video. Thanks a lot.